Hey guys, I am making a video here. I know I made a post a couple days ago about my trip back from New York. I was on vacation to go see my daughter and from my job up here in North Dakota. And I drove back with my brother's girlfriend because she was having a baby shower. And so they drove up here from Oklahoma to Minnesota, and then drove from Minnesota to North Dakota, and then we all drove back. Well, just myself and Lisa drove back to New York to see my daughter and for her to go to her family baby shower. Well, anyways, on the way there, it was fun. We got a ticket, a stupid ticket, of course, in Ohio, but that's not what I wanted to talk about here. What I was interested in talking about is the ride home. And I wanted to explain this ride home because it was like a spiritual experience for myself, I believe, in trusting God and learning to go forward on a journey and just trust that no matter what happens, that things are going to turn out okay. What was really cool wasn't the fact that when we were driving the car, the engine blew up. But obviously that's not cool. But what was cool is the fact that where we broke down, when we broke down, how everything was just resolved within a matter of minutes, and how when we broke down, we were in a place called Rockford, Illinois, which was about 40-50 minutes outside of Chicago, and it's a nice little town, great people, excellent. I just can't say enough nice things about Rockford, Illinois. I don't live there, but just going there, breaking down, and everybody was really nice there. So this is how the trip went. We left Sunday night, and we wound up breaking down Sunday morning around 6-7 o'clock. Now, if you've ever driven from New York to out west, you know that there are places in between cities and towns where, you can go miles and miles without gas stations or rest stops. It just so happens that we broke down in this little town where everything was that we needed. They had a public transit system there. They had taxi cabs, but we didn't need the taxi cab. It was just that we needed to get to the Chicago, the international train station down in Chicago. But if we would have broken down any other place, it would have cost a lot of money to get a taxi cab and everything. But just the fact that we broke down in Rockford, Illinois, and the time that we broke down, it wasn't the middle of the night, so those are some of the things that I guess I want to say when trusting in God, He knows exactly where to have you break down in your car, to have people right. And it was like literally we broke down and we sat there for 5 minutes. I called my cell phone or not called my cell phone, but I called my brother, I called my, whoever we could call, but nobody was answering the phone. So I said, all right, well, let me check my credit card. And I was figuring that I had, I don't know, probably $1,500 in my account. Well, I called my account and realizing that I didn't get paid till Monday night. For some reason, I thought I was supposed to get paid Sunday night, but no, I get paid Monday nights. It's just the whole week was very crazy for me, so when I wanted to leave and get home, I just wanted to go. And so I would have had enough money probably to make it another couple of 100 miles before, I would have had to call somebody. But the fact is, I didn't have to call because of the gas, running out of gas. I actually had to call a friend. This was the most amazing part about this whole thing. I don't want to name names here because I'm not about putting the spotlight on people if they're not interested in, and I don't know if he is. I don't think he would be, but he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a Christian guy, and he said to me one day, he's like, "Hey, if you ever need anything, give me a call. I'll do whatever I can to help you out." And I thought, I don't like asking people for anything, especially my friends and my family. I don't know. It's just I don't. It's not one of my things I like to do. But I was in a situation where I had my brother's girlfriend who's pregnant. Her name's Lisa. So I couldn't make Lisa walk anywhere carrying any kind of bags. I couldn't afford to have the car towed. It was just everything that could go wrong went wrong, but everything that could go right went right. So I called my buddy up and I'm like, "Hey, listen, I'm in a spot here. I don't have any money until that particular night to get out of there." So we would have had to wait until at least midnight to get to Chicago and all of that fun stuff. So I called my buddy up, and my buddy, no problem. He without question, he just sends me $500, Walmart to Walmart. And it just so happens that particular day, he went into work like at 1:30 in the morning and got out at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. The only day this has happened on his job, and it just so happens that's the day we break down with the car. It was just another one of those divine moments that you could just look at and say, all right, this happened, this happened. Is it all just coincidence that all these things just kept happening and they lined up perfectly, like where we broke down with the car? And here's the cool part too. We were sitting there for about 5 minutes on the side of the highway and not knowing what to do, not having any money. And all of a sudden the police officer shows up 5 minutes after we're there. Comes up to the window. I explained the car's broke down. I don't have any money to have the car towed. So she basically was going to set up somebody to come tow the car. So then we'd just pay it later on to get the car out. And so as soon as she's here for 5 minutes, next thing you know, you see a help truck. It's like a highway help truck that just pulls up. And somebody must have called the highway help truck. And so he's there, he's talking to the officer. I get out and I'm talking to him. And I didn't know what he was there for. And I thought, I've never broke down on the side of the highway like that. So I didn't know what the help trucks were capable of doing. Well, anyways, 5 minutes after the help truck showed up, then the tow truck shows up. So within 15 minutes of us breaking down on the side of the road in Chicago, or right outside of Chicago, everything was literally taken care of within 15 minutes of us breaking down. The help truck was able to give us a ride. We were able to get some of our bags out of the vehicle that we needed. It was just it. And then they brought us to Rockford, this place where the buses, the transit, and it was like that transit went to Chicago. It was everything just lined up for perfect. I mean, it wasn't like we had to get out of the car and call a taxi that I couldn't afford. It wasn't like we were going to walk, 60 miles back to Chicago to catch the train. It was every single thing was just perfectly in place for the moment when we broke down. And it was just, and even the fact that my friend was there to lend me the money that I could buy the train tickets to get home that day, and to stay in Chicago. And we had to wind up staying overnight in Chicago. and then coming in the next day. So I mean, I literally just got home like 3 or 4 hours ago from this trip, but I'm reflecting back on it, and I just wanted to share this story with you guys about how when you trust in God, how He sets up everything to make sure that you're okay. I mean, I know that I've had situations before where, I had nobody to call on the phone to lend me money. I had friends, but the friends that I've had in my life, they wouldn't have done that in the past. Probably because they wouldn't have trusted me, or who knows. I mean, I used to be a different person, but now that I become a Christian, a few years ago, I'm trying to be a better person, and I think people might see that or something. So, and I think it's just the providence of God taking care of His children. And I guess this is part of testimony of how great it is to have Jesus Christ in your life. Not everything is perfect. I'm not a perfect person either, but the main fact is that I am able to recognize these divine moments where God just sets everything in place, from the place that you break down to the police officer showing up within 15 minutes, the help truck, the tow truck, the place that they took us to get on the bus, and it was just awesome. That's all I can say. Then we got to this place. It was like a shelter for people waiting for the buses, and we got to meet some really great people that were otherwise I probably wouldn't have met if we didn't break down, and it was really cool. So that's my testimony as far as this trip and how God has used some awesome people. I mean, how many of you out there can go to somebody that's just a friend of yours and say, hey, I'm broke down. Can I get $500? I mean, honestly, probably hardly anybody can do that. I mean, if you can, I know you're lucky. I know that I was very blessed to have somebody like that help me out, and it's only by the grace of God, honestly. So, if you guys have any cool stories like this, go ahead and share them on the bottom of this post. I think that'd be great. So I just want to give the Lord praise for, getting me back here to Williston, North Dakota, and allowing me to go home and see my daughter. And it was just a great time. And I'm here, and I just want to praise the Lord and let everybody know. All right, well, this is Daniel Leach, and I am signing off. Hasta la vista, baby.